Hi guys, this is Dr. Pangelinan, and in this lecture I'm going to talk about the 7th skill module in the Special Olympics Young Athletes program, kicking. At the end of this lecture, students will understand the activities in the kicking skills module. You'll learn how to observe children's movements while they're performing the different activities in the module. And for the students in groups 21 to 24, you will develop activities that build upon the skills trained in this module. The goals for this module include helping children become more proficient at kicking. Kicking is when an object is struck or hit with the foot. Kicking requires eye-foot coordination and balance. The picture on the right is all of the activities in this module. I'll go through each of these activities in terms of the goals and modifications or progressions. We'll then watch videos of children doing each activity. The first activity for this module is called stationary ball kick. For this activity, a ball is placed on the ground and the child will stand on a floor marker behind it. The child will kick the stationary ball. As the child becomes more proficient, the coach can set up floor markers or cones placed at different distances. The child can see how far he or she can kick the ball. The coach can also set up a goal, and the children can try to kick the ball between the cones to score. Different balls can be used as the children become more proficient. They can start with a light and large ball, like a beach ball, and progress to a junior soccer ball, which is light and small. And lastly, to a playground ball or regular soccer ball. The goal is to practice balancing on one foot and making contact with the ball when kicking. Now let's watch the video of children participating in this activity. The first child kicks the ball by mostly extending his knee. The second child kicks the ball with the knee extended and mostly swings the extended leg at the hip to make contact. In both cases, the child does not take a step towards the ball before making contact. As the children progress in skill, I would move the floor marker further back so that the children have to take a step or run up to the ball before swinging the kicking leg. And again, different balls can be used as the children become more proficient. The second activity is called penalty kick. The goal of this activity is to practice running up to the ball and kicking it. For this activity, a ball is placed on the ground and the child has to run up to the ball to kick it. Similar to the last activity, the activity guide provides recommendations for progressions as the child becomes more proficient. The coach can set up cones as a goal and the child can kick the ball between the cones to score. The other children can practice playing goalie by trapping or catching the kicked ball. Again, different balls can be used as the children become more proficient. Let's watch the video of children participating in this activity. In the first video, one coach helps the kicker, and the other coach shows the goalie how to stand with her hands ready to catch the ball. The kicker uses good form by taking a step before kicking the ball. In the second video, the kicker mostly uses knee extension to make contact with the ball. The goalie stops the ball with his feet. In the last video, the little girl runs up and kicks the ball between the goal with no goalie. It's important to note that for the last kicker, the goal is set wide and she's fairly close to the goal. This will enable the child to be successful even when she does not kick the ball hard or accurately. The activity guide provides tips for observation. Children should focus their eyes on the ball before kicking to make sure that they make contact with the ball. Children should focus their eyes on the target as they kick the ball, which helps them follow through towards the target. One way to help children identify where their goal or target is to first look and point at the target. We will see this in the video for the next activity. The third activity is called passing practice. The goal is for children to practice kicking the ball to each other. When kids practice throwing to each other, they also practice trapping and catching. Similarly, when kids practice kicking to each other, they also practice trapping the ball with the foot or catching it with the hands. For this activity, the kids will stand in a circle and practice kicking the ball to each other. They must keep the ball in the circle, so the ball can't be kicked too hard. Like the other activities, different balls can be used as the child becomes more proficient. Let's watch the video of this activity. Before kicking the ball, the first child stops the ball with the bottom of his foot to hold it in place. He points to the next child, who is his target. He kicks the ball gently, mostly using knee extension. The next child stops the ball by placing his foot on top of the ball. Before kicking the ball, the child points to the next child. The child then kicks the ball using a combination of knee extension and hip flexion. The fourth activity is called give and go. The goal of this activity is for children to practice kicking a moving ball. A coach or another child can pass the ball to the child. The child is encouraged to kick the moving ball between two cones to score a goal. Similar to the other activities, to help increase a child's success, the child can be placed close to the goal and the cones spread wide apart. The ball should be kicked gently at first. When I teach kicking moving balls, I sometimes provide a countdown, 3, 2, 1, kick, to help the child anticipate the ball. Let's watch a video of this activity. In the video, the coach set up 2 floor markers. The child stands on the second floor marker, which is further from the goal. The coach gently kicks the ball to the first floor marker, which is closer to the goal. As the coach kicks the ball, the child walks up to the first floor marker and kicks the ball into the goal. In the second video, the child receives the ball from the coach and dribbles it closer to the goal before kicking the ball into the goal. The fifth activity is called pinball. The goal is to practice balancing and anticipating changes in the ball's direction as it hits different objects. For this activity, the coach will set up a rectangular frame like a pinball machine using balance beams. The coach can use cones, blocks, and other objects as obstacles within the frame. The child will stand on the balance beams and gently kick the ball to each other. As the ball hits the frame and other objects, the ball will change direction. Let's watch the video of this activity. In the video, the kids are not standing on balance beams. They kick the ball at objects and try to knock down the objects. The coach has to help keep the game going by passing the ball to one of the children when it gets stuck in the middle. Again, the goal is to watch how the ball bounces off the different objects and changes direction. The sixth activity is called 3-pin bowling. This activity is listed as optional in the activity guide. For this activity, the coach will set up a bowling lane using 2 balance beams and 3 plastic bottles or stacking cups as pins. The child will kick the ball hard to knock down the pins. Let's watch a video of this activity. In the video, the coach did not set up a lane and used 4 plastic bottles. In both videos, the child stands on a floor marker and kicks the ball without taking a step. He uses mostly knee extension and hip flexion and a little bit of back extension to kick the ball. As a child becomes more proficient, the floor marker can be moved further from the cones, and the child can run and kick the ball. The seventh activity is called cone dribble. The goal of this activity is to learn to dribble the ball or kick the ball gently and accurately around obstacles. For this activity, the coach will set up cones around the play space. The children will lightly kick the ball as they move around the space without hitting the cones. The children can take turns, and as they become more proficient, several children can dribble around the space at the same time. Let's watch the video for this activity. The cones are set up such that the child dribbles around each cone. He moves very slowly and looks down at the ball while dribbling. The coach provides help to direct the child how to go around the cones. As the children progress, the children can move more quickly around the cones. The cones can be spaced closer together, or the child can be encouraged to alternate feet as they dribble. The activity guide provides tips for observation. First, when kicking, the body or trunk leans back just before contact with the ball. We saw this in the previous video for 3-pin bowling, in which the child showed trunk extension when kicking a stationary ball. Second, the opposite arm swings forward with a kicking leg. This type of movement is called a counter movement and is necessary to maintain balance when kicking with a lot of force. Lastly, the kicking leg should follow through towards the target. In the video of passing practice, to help the children orient their bodies towards the next child, they pointed to where they wanted to kick the ball. Ideally, their kicking foot should follow through in the direction of where they're pointing. Okay, in preparation for the quiz, you should all know the goals and modifications for each of these activities. For those of you in groups 21 to 24, you can meet with your group to pick one of these activities that you would like to modify for your group project. Again, you can change the equipment or instructions or rules, but the general goal of the activity should be the same as the original activity. Your task card will need to incorporate simple images and text to describe your new activity. Please make sure to follow the examples on Canvas. Please feel free to email me if your group would like to meet to discuss your activity, or if you have any questions about the material covered in this lecture.